All right. Okay, so I am going to introduce our speaker, Mr. James J.J. Sullinger, which we all know that name very well, I'm sure. So I'm just going to read his bio is in the front. I won't read it all verbatim. I trust you all are able to. If not, please let me know and I will come personally and read it to you. All right, so we have J.J. Sullinger. He began his career as a Buckeye as he was the co-captain of the 2006 Big Ten Championship Buckeye basketball team. And now he is currently providing Fortune 500 companies to advance innovative technology solutions. So we all know that JJ is no stranger to hard work, dedication, and perseverance. He has began his professional corporate career in real estate in 2010, earning his Ohio's real estate license. And as the Lambright's team leads buyer's agent and real estate specialist, he's responsible for turning the dream of home ownership into a reality around the entire central Ohio area. Now, his next pursuit was in 2014, venturing with the IT professional services firm, where he learned ultimately his current position at BPS Technologies, a premier technology solution company in Central Ohio. At BPS, he is a part of a brilliant team of sales and technology experts who are directly responsible for providing innovative and successful technology solutions to their trusted clients. His role as Senior Business Development Manager awards him the opportunity to work with some of the most prestigious companies Columbus, Ohio has to offer. So JJ was a 3-year men's basketball varsity letter winner at The Ohio State University. He played 1 year at University of Arkansas, wore the number 0 at both universities, representing the Block O, the logo of our beloved Buckeyes. He was one of 4 co-captains of the 2006 Big Ten Championship team. After graduating in spring of 2006 with a bachelor's degree in arts and sciences, he's played professionally all over the globe. Some of those places include China, the Philippines, Belgium, Austria, and Poland. He also had brief stints in American with the Anderson Alley Cats, Albany Patroons, and Tulsa 66ers. So can I welcome you all, JJ Sullinger.
All right. You're going to need to learn that because you're going to hear that a lot in school. OHIO. I'm JJ Sullinger. I have a couple of notes that I want to touch on. I thought I was going to have a podium, but it's okay. So if I look back that way, that's what I'm doing. Wow. I just think this is amazing. You know, everywhere I go, anything that I do, it's always, Ohio State always gets mentioned. But on my way here in the airport, you know, I was talking to a couple people, a couple individuals, and it was full circle because you can't go into an airport without talking about Ohio State. I had an Ohio State hoodie on, but still, you know, anywhere you go, even though I was leaving out of Columbus, you can leave out of anywhere, you can be going anywhere. Ohio State's going to come up. Sometimes not so, they're not going to be so happy with you, but we understand that. I'd like to thank the committee. I'd like to thank Melissa. The Melissas, I call them the Melissas. That's probably who I spent the most time with getting me here. Anything that I needed, anything that, you know, the planning was awesome. India, I'd like to thank you. I am so sorry. I have been not very responsive at times. I can be non-responsive. I really appreciate it. The times that we did have over the phone, though, our synergy kind of, you know, linked up. I'd like to thank my man, Vic. When I got here, I was trying to figure out how I knew Vic. I've known Vic forever, for a very, very long time. And I realized today, we had the conversation, that we both went to the same high school. I went to Brookhaven High School for 1 year in Columbus. Yeah. You went to Brookhaven too? Oh, okay. City League, baby, City League. Heck yeah. But Vic was like one of my big homies from way back in the day. I remember, names came up today: Terry Glenn and Phil Dupree, Antoine Lavender. All of those guys. Coach Howard. You know what I mean? God rest his soul. I've known Vic for a very long time, so I appreciate you reaching out to me. In fact, Vic actually asked me to do this last year, but then Otis Winston was the guy here first. Otis is on Netflix and stuff, man. So I totally get it. I get it. He still dies in every movie though. We got to work on that, Otis. But no, I was a little taken back to be asked to come here. I really appreciate the opportunity. I come from humble beginnings. I grew up on the south side of Columbus. Not the greatest area. Zeke, where's Zeke? Is Zeke? There he is, right there. We were just talking about it. It's not the greatest area, but I had both parents in the house. They were both educators, and from early on, when I was a little tyke, I remember my father telling me that I was going to go to college. He said, "You're going to go to college. You're going to go to a big college." Now, both of my parents graduated from Oberlin College, which was the first school to admit blacks and women way back when. But my dad always told me I was going to go to a big college, and I really didn't understand what that meant at the time. But as I kept getting older and older, he was a basketball coach, and he always had us in the gym. And it wasn't something that he forced on us or anything like that. But ever since I could remember, I've been in the gym. Now, there were certain things that we had to be in order to be at the gym. We had to be ahead of our schoolwork. Well, let me back up. We had to be potty trained. So he wasn't doing bathroom breaks at the gym. So once we were potty trained and we knew how to use the bathroom ourselves, we could go to the gym with him. But we also had to be up on our schoolwork if we were in school. And my dad didn't coach in the greatest area. He started coaching at Linmore Middle School, which is like not the Linden area in Columbus, if you're familiar. And he had really strict rules. We weren't allowed to have designs in our hair. We weren't allowed to have more than one part. And I remember one time, my mom, who cut my hair, she put 2 parts in my hair, and I couldn't go to the gym. And I wasn't allowed. And, it hurt at the time, but I kind of understood what he was trying to do. Play basketball. Early on, I realized that, it was probably going to be the sport for me. My dad broke both of his hips when he was 13 playing football, so he didn't allow us to play football. So basketball was kind of going to be the sport. And that's where I kind of grew my love for The Ohio State University. So I didn't really know what I was loving so much, but I knew I loved the Buckeyes. In fact, the very first basketball camp I went to was the Jay Burson basketball camp. Now, if you remember Jay Burson, he broke his neck against Iowa on a Monday night. And I remember that because I was watching on the TV in my dad's bedroom. Jay Burson was probably the first name that I remember watching at Ohio State. And then the next basketball camp that I remember is Ohio State basketball camp. And I remember this one day. My dad was a camp counselor, and like I said, humble beginnings. We didn't have a lot, but we didn't need a lot. You know what I mean? Like my father, my mother, they provided what we needed. We didn't have everything we wanted, but they pretty much provided the things that we needed. So in the summer times, my dad would go, he would look at the camps, and he would go work at these camps, and instead of getting paid, it would pay for my way to go. And with him being a camp counselor, I would have to go early and I would have to stay late. They would have meetings and things like that. One I remember this like it was yesterday. My dad had to be at the gym. He had to be at St. John Arena for Randy Ayers basketball camp at 7 a.m. And I remember hearing a ball bounce, and I remember hearing music playing inside St. John's at like 6:30. My dad's, anybody that knows my father, if you can't be on time, be early. So he's always early. So 6:30 was when we got there, and I remember hearing music playing out. As I'm walking down the slope, I see Jim Jackson working out, and this is when he was playing for the Dallas Mavericks. And I remember watching Jimmy play when I was even smaller and when he was at Ohio State. And so I'm watching and I'm mimicking what he's doing on the sidelines. And he kind of like stopped me and he was like, "Hey, young fella, come here." He was like, "Man, if you're going to do this, you got to do it right." So he started teaching me how to do things and things like that. So if I wasn't a Buckeye fan then, I was definitely a Buckeye fan now. You know what I mean? So as time went on, I got into high school and I became pretty good, and I was being recruited. Unfortunately, I wasn't being recruited by the school I thought I was always going to, which was Ohio State. I wasn't recruited by them coming out of high school. I was the sixth guy, and they had 5 scholarships available. So, which meant if one of the 5 guys didn't accept, then they may have given me a chance. Well, my dad didn't like that. I didn't like that. So I went to the University of Arkansas. University of Arkansas. Oh, there they go. Getting blitzed. Getting blitzed, right? I had that all planned. No worries. So I went to the University of Arkansas. Like she mentioned, like India mentioned, I wore the number 0 for the Block O. I was still that much of an Ohio State fan. And again, my love for Ohio State was just through sport. It had nothing to do with the actual university. It just was what I knew, what I've grown to love, and what I did. I actually told the reporters down there in Arkansas why I wore 0. They didn't really like that too much, but whatever. Fast forward, my coach gets fired. Noah Richardson gets fired wrongfully. If he doesn't get fired, I wouldn't be here today. It's funny how things work out like that, but he gets fired. I end up at Ohio State, and I'm playing for Jim O'Brien. Jim O'Brien and I didn't really get along, if I'm being honest. I learned fairly quickly that there was a reason why he didn't recruit me. He didn't like the way I played basketball. So it was a little shaky at first. Thad Matta gets there, and everything changes. Everything changes. He actually, I wasn't down the wrong path, but I could have been going down the wrong path. He actually saved my life, and he taught me one thing: never get tired of preparing to win. And that's something that I take with me everything that I do, every single day in any facet of life. My personal life, my marriage, being a father, being a businessman, being an athlete, being a former athlete. Never get tired of preparing to win. We were picked 8th my senior year in the Big Ten, and we ended up winning it outright. And this was after, right? This was after the year before beating the team, Illinois, who was undefeated. Undefeated, was supposed to win the championship, ended up losing in the championship. But that kind of catapulted that catapulted the love for Ohio State and being recognized. That year that we won the Big Ten, we were the second seed in the NCAA tournament in Dayton. Ended up losing to Georgetown in the second round. But my brother met me at half court. It's the weirdest thing. Everybody was gone. It took me forever to get out of the locker room. It took me forever anyway, but I was boohoo crying in the back. My career was over. Ohio State was over. And my brother met me at half court. And when we met, I just told him, I was like, "Hey man, if this coaching staff recruits you, you come to Ohio State. He saved my life. He'll do wonders for you." Well, anybody that knows my brother, he had a hell of a career at Ohio State, 2 seasons, and ended up playing in the NBA for 5, and he's still playing today overseas in China. I say all that to say, my love for Ohio State, even after I graduated, was still very much sport, had a lot to do with sport. Now, I will say, getting my degree at Ohio State, I did learn a lot about myself. I learned a lot about other people, and I got to experience other things and things like that. Um, I think the Ohio State University is one of the greatest places on earth because there's so many people from so many different places and so many different walks of life. Um, Being an athlete, sometimes you don't really get to experience that. You don't really get to immerse yourself in that thing and stuff like that. But I got a chance to do it after school because I played overseas. So I played in places like the Philippines. I played in places like China. I played in places like Belgium. And every one of those places, Ohio State showed up. So when I was in the Philippines, there were like 6,000 people, 6,000 alum having some recognition party or something like that. I wasn't able to attend. I had a game that night, but I was supposed to be there. I remember in China, I was playing against one of my teammates, the 2006 Big Ten Player of the Year, Terrence Dials. We were playing against each other. 60 people showed up in Ohio State stuff screaming OH the whole time. It was nuts. It was nuts. And you quickly learn that Ohio State is so much more than just, campus or Lane Avenue or High Street. It's everywhere. And you get to be a part of things that you don't necessarily think about, as you're playing or even at school there. Now, in my life after basketball, I get to be a part of the Buckeye Cruise for Cancer. The Buckeye Cruise for Cancer raises money for cancer research at the James. Over the course of its tenure, we've raised over $30 million for cancer research. Everybody's been affected. Everybody's been affected directly or indirectly by cancer. Just to be a small part of that means so much to me. I've got to be on numerous boards around, and committees and things like that in the area. And it all ties back to Ohio State. So, the love that I had or the love that I grew for Ohio State through sport took me to some places and took me to some things and put me in situations. And I've met so many different people that has expanded that love. So Ohio State is near and dear to my heart. I love it to death. I know you guys do too, and I know you will. I'm so excited for you, and I wish the other two were here for me to say that to them too. But Ohio State is a great place. I just can't say enough great things about it, and I'm so excited for you. So thank you guys. I don't know if you guys have any questions or anything like that, but I really appreciate you having me, and go Bucks.
Everyone,